So I was scrolling through YouTube the other day, and I realized that this community sucks at editing. So to make up for that, I have a tutorial for you guys.
Hello guys, welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play.
Let me try to move.
Alright, so I've already gotten everything synced. So let's get to the 3D part. But if you're lazy, you can just buy my project files on PayHip instead, you know?
I am once again.
No, but actually the link is in the description. Alright, so now that we're actually gonna start the video, I'm gonna be recreating the first 3D edit in my Live This Wild edit. Which if you haven't seen, you can go check that out too, you know? But, so first off, what you do is you gotta get it so it can be edited in 3D. So you have the clip duplicated, so you're gonna want to put them both in 3D. You can have motion blur later. So you're gonna turn off the top one so you can see this. And then there's a few things you want to know when you're in 3D. So first off, position. You can move it back and forth, right? But then there's also scale. So position is how far it is in the actual scene. Scale is how big that thing is. So right now, it's scaled up. So it's big, but it's actually far away in the scene. So now what I'm going to do is, since I want it to be far away in the scene, I'm going to use, this is the Z-axis, move it back a bit. And so now, I'm going to want to create a camera and some nulls. So here's a camera, and then null, and then just duplicate it a few times for however much movement you'll think you'll need. I'll explain that a little bit more later. First, you're going to make them all 3D. Then you want to connect the camera to no one to no one, and no one to no one. So now you have a scene where you can move this, and it moves the whole thing. Because these are in 3D space, these are in 3D space. What this lets you do is move around the 3D scene without moving the 3D scene itself. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, but what I'm gonna do now is add a solid, make it white, and I am going to also make this 3D to make it a lot smaller. Move this down, and yeah, so we're going to turn this off for now, and we're gonna start actually creating the animation for the clip. So I'm gonna click position. We want it to start going in here. We want it to end here. And there you go. You have your basic animation. Obviously that sucks. So now we're gonna add graphs. So for movement, like which is going straight on, what you're going to want to do is create a graph that is slow in the beginning and speeds in to the impacts. It makes it look like, because you don't want it to slow down right before the impact, you want it to be quick. And so the privileges of having a 3D scene is when I move the camera in, this 3D layer will move back. Alright, so I realize I only have one movement going, so I'm not going to need as many nulls, so I'm just going to delete this one. Now, this is when we turn this clip back on. This is the one covering it. So we're actually going to change this to a different color. I'm going to make this cyan, and I'm going to rename it to front. This is where you're going to want to create a mask. You either create a rectangle, go straight down the middle, and now you have 1/2 of the clip. Duplicate, create another mask, use the rectangle tool. There you go. Now you have it split amongst two different clips. So now if I turn this off, I have this half, turn this off, this half. I can control each half separately. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an animation. Okay, so now I'm going to add a keyframe for orientation. And we'll just go about here. We'll just see, we can always change it later as I said. So now we have two keyframes. You can just move this like this, We're gonna add a position keyframe to each one. We want it to like open up like doors. Okay, so we have this little simple thing. Now what I'm gonna do is this graph, and that looks terrible, so we're gonna just mess around so we get it right. Alright, so I messed around a bit with graphs and timing and stuff, and I found that it was better when I had a later start time to the camera movements. That's what I did. I changed it. I added this graph to the camera movement, and then for these I just added like the walls opening or the doors. I just messed around with a lot of different graphs. I use this one, or not this one, I use this one, and then I just like, you know, did slight changes and stuff, and just completely messed around until it started to look good. And yes, this is what it's looking like now. Okay, so now that we've finished the main part of the edit, we just have to add the little details that make the edit look so good. Like, you know, like a little staircase or an overlay, something that really brings the edit to life. So as you see right here, I have this little white stair, and I'm going to be duplicating that and just creating a little staircase to go all the way to the clip. Okay, so I've now created this like staircase animation. So here's how it looks. Okay, now it's time to create the reflection. Okay, so what I do is I get a picture of a floor, and I'm gonna make it 3D, go like this, bring it down, and we'll add motion tile, pre-compose, brightness and contrast, use legacy support. Make sure to check this box, turn this off, add an adjustment layer, add compound blur, make the layer the floors. So then now what you can do is you can adjust it to give it this round look. Okay, so in order to get this reflection not to be like this, first you're going to want to just put it to when you want the reflection to start, and then you're going to bring these above here, but then we're actually going to want this clip to also be reflected. So right now it's like this, it's only in here. We're going to want this clip, which is back here, to be reflected, so we're going to bring this behind here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this and take this one, we're going to bring it below, so about here. We go to transform, we click vertical, go on impact, and cut the layer. Okay, so now I'm going to import an overlay for the background to just make it really come to life. So I added the purple overlay. I positioned it so it was behind the clip, this clip right here, but I scaled it up so it fills the screen, and then I just messed around until it started looking good, messed with the speed and timing and all that stuff, and here is how it looks. Now if you want to be extra fancy, you could probably add like particles in the background, or you could add like whatever you want. So I might mess around with that, and if it looks good, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I'll just get rid of it. Real quick, if you have like a not very good computer that you're trying to run After Effects on or anything on, it's probably good to clean up the layers. So for right here, these are the reflections. I have it starting in the beginning, but they're really not a thing until the end, so you can just bring them here. And yeah, just clean everything up like these white solids. Well, see, if it's in the beginning, what you could do is you could just split it like this, delete this, go here, click M for the mask. So now it's a lot like cleaned up. Okay, so now I actually decided to add some particles. It just adds a really cool feel to the whole thing, kind of like a space vibe almost. And I again made it 3D, put the same position as the other, as this polygon overlay, and then I just scaled it up, and it just looks pretty cool.
Alright, so that's it for that tutorial. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, let me know and it might make more in the future. So I put a lot of work into this video, so a like and sub is always appreciated. But anyway, here's the final result of the edit.
Zach on the mic here, brand new mic. Let's go.
Got ants in my pants, so I dance like I'm crazy. Right hit the left, now go crazy. Won't hop too hard, make it wavy. Jesus, my Lord, yeah, he saved me.